I'm excited for this one because Christian McCaffrey is one of my favorite players to ever come out of Stanford, obviously, and the Niners had an opportunity to draft him. They went with Solomon Thomas, and I know McCaffrey's hurt a lot, and it felt like a luxury pick at the time because a lot of people were saying you're not good enough to be able to utilize a McCaffrey. It feels to me, and you could say, Joe, you're completely wrong. They use McCaffrey, and Debo's used differently, but they're very similar players in that they're Swiss Army knives. You want to get them out on the edges. You want to get the ball in their hand in space. So I think there's an interesting comparison between the two players.
His first 3 seasons, he plays all 16 games.
Talking about McCaffrey?
Christian McCaffrey. 2020 plays 3, gets hurt. 2021 it plays 7, gets hurt. So far, he's 4 for 4. He's averaging 4.7 yards a carry. He's still catching passes out of the backfield at 7.3 a clip, 19 catches on the season, only 138 yards. I wonder what's going to go on with Carolina because Love and I were talking about this Monday.
Matt Rule.
Monday morning. Matt Rule and company.
He's the coach.
Monday morning, we were talking about, man, if the Niners lose to the Rams and Jimmy plays terrible, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I was like, and I'm not a Sam Darnold fan whatsoever, but I was saying to myself, you're going to Carolina, maybe you could talk to their GM and you could pry away Sam Darnold just to have an experienced quarterback. Sam Darnold. That's how bad it was getting, right? It was like, you can't just go to Brock Purdy.
The Niners almost traded for Sam Darnold. At least there was talks
about that.
Of them trading with the Jets, and they said that they did their homework, and they were, I believe it was a second and a third that Carolina traded and then picked up his 5th-year option. Right. That could have been the Niners instead of drafting Trey Lance.
So I'm happy that didn't happen.
Yeah.
I'm not a big Sam Darnold guy, but that's where I was at.
Never
but what I'm getting to with Christian McCaffrey, what are they going to do with Christian McCaffrey? Scott Fitterer, the GM of the Carolina Panthers. Niners are their running back. How much would it cost for a McCaffrey? What's his contract? I'm going to look up his contract now because it may not make sense.
This is the team that I think that should be all over him. Tom Brady's Tampa Bay Bucks.
Oh, well, that would be steal.
That's a match made in heaven.
Don't even speak that into existence.
Check down heaven, no?
Don't speak that into existence, please.
You don't think that's check down heaven?
Well, I know it's check down heaven. I know what Christian McCaffrey would do with Tom Brady.
He'd be amazing.
You want those problems?
He'd be
the Niners
amazing.
they're going to have to see Tampa Bay soon. I don't want Christian McCaffrey in a Bucs uniform.
No.
Plus, the Panthers probably won't trade with the Bucs, considering their division rivals.
I'm just saying that he's like a perfect Brady player.
So he's got a lot of money on the table. He has a potential out in 2023. He can opt out. Now, if opts in, he would have another 3 years left on the contract, 11.8 next season, 11.8 in 2024, and $12 million in 2025. I don't know. The way I look at it is like this. When we cite those numbers offensively, with the defense playing so well for the 49ers, and I see 3 points in the second half against Chicago, I see 7 against Seattle, 3 against the Rams, and then 3 against the Broncos, they need playmakers.
Well, I look at it this way, B, because like I hear from a lot of Aiyuk fans and Aiyuk fantasy owners. They say, why does Brandon Aiyuk get the ball the first 15 plays? He'll get a couple of touches.
And then doesn't touch it again.
Well, they don't even look his way the rest of the game. What is that? And I would say that, yes, in the Bronco game, I'd like to see him get some touches and some looks. In the Seattle game, you were running away. You're going to run the ball. You're not going to throw it a lot.
I get it.
It makes sense.
We're going to be conservative.
Exactly.
It's Jimmy's first game action.
Exactly.
Yeah, no
Ram
doubt.
game, you're kind of in control. You want to run the ball. It makes sense.
You got to put the game out of like, think about that. Hufanga makes the play. It's still a 17-9 football game, and that football game had no business being 17-9. We both know that. There should have been more
but they're
going to
play in close games. Like, that's how they play. You know, they're going to play in close games. And so I guess what I'm saying is that at some point, and I'd like to see a little adversity in the sense of I want to see this team be forced to throw it a little so that we could get some of these playmakers going. Like, they need to get some guys going. Jennings had a couple of drops the other night. You know, I like Jennings. Boy, if Danny Gray can get that hip healthy, I'd love to see him out there.
Yeah,
Ray McCloud hasn't really done anything in the offense. Like, special teams, he's been okay, but like they need another receiver to step forward.
Well, I agree. And you may need another playmaker from the outside. You need a playmaker on the outside. Mm-hmm. Who's it we were talking to? We heard somebody, I forget why I heard it, maybe yesterday. I'm getting so old. But they were like, the Niners are going to have to throw outside the numbers.
That was Jerry Rice said that.
Jerry Rice said that yesterday with us.
He said it's very predictable in the middle of the field.
You're going to have to throw outside the numbers at sometimes. Mm-hmm. So how can you isolate guys on the outside? Brandon Aiyuk, Deebo Samuel. Can Jimmy Garoppolo get the ball to the outside? Can he throw the ball outside? Can Kittle get outside? But I just bookmark it, Shasky. What's going to happen to Christian McCaffrey? Does Carolina really want to pivot? Because that's a guy in Shanahan's offense. What? Christian McCaffrey? Like, I know he's dealt with injuries. Where's his speed at? Well, we're going to find out on Sunday at 105, right?
Well, the other part of this is that, as we're talking about, like, the links between Carolina and the Niners, Jimmy G was supposed to be a destination for Carolina before Baker Mayfield.
As I was scrolling through an article, it said Carolina was a favorite to land Jimmy Garoppolo. This is an article back in March.
But, like, that was one of the spots that we thought, because of the situation with the coach, and they want to win now, and they've got this expensive owner who wants to spend it at no cost. So it's just, there's a lot of stuff going back and forth here. Yes, the offense needs to do more. McCaffrey, because of their cap situation, I just don't see it. But I would love to have McCaffrey in this system.
Well, it's funny, and I don't know how.
Who would you rather have, Debo or McCaffrey?
Would I rather have both on the same team?
No. I'm making you pick.
Debo. I'm taking Debo Samuel right now. Different positions.
Yeah, I know they're very different. I'm
taking Debo, but McCaffrey can't roll between the tackles.
I think he's very underrated. I think we overhyped the injuries. I would love to have McCaffrey.
So our boy Jason Lockenfora, he loves Jason Lockenfora.
Volume shooter.
You talk to him a lot at night.
The Joey Gallo.
I listen to a lot of those interviews with you and Kelvin at night.
Of reporters.
Jason Lockenfora.
He swings and misses a lot, but when he connects.
He swings. He doesn't leave the bat on his shoulders. But this guy is apparently starting to rumor that Christian McCaffrey's name is now in trade rumors, especially with Baker Mayfield not playing well. So take it with a grain of salt. But he has lofty numbers, a lot of money, and some people say you don't want to pay a running back that much money.
Yeah.
That would probably make me hesitant, but damn.
Well, I think it doesn't. Like, I would love for him to play running back for the Niners. Don't get me wrong here. I think it costs too much, and his salary is a pretty high number. And I just worried, like, the Rams feel like a landing spot for him. That is such a Rams move, isn't it?
And would you have some fear with him being in a Rams uniform?
Absolutely.
You brought him up with Tom Brady.
Absolutely.
You brought him up with Tom Brady, and I'm thinking to myself, dear God, no. They'll be the favorites again in the NFC.
Well, also Arizona. Arizona would be another team that I would think that he would have fit really well.
With that said, and the Niners are in a great spot right now being 2-2. You got Atlanta, you have Carolina and Atlanta on deck. You can improve to 4-2 for a big home date against the Kansas City Chiefs. With this defense playing at clicking on all cylinders, D'Amico Ryan's flying around. We don't know how long D'Amico's going to be here. This may be his last year as D coordinator with the 49ers. Don't you feel like it's now the Niners' time to go all in on something at the deadline? Like, they made the trade for Emmanuel Sanders. Great trade.
Yes.
Sneaky under the radar. Aminahu, who's playing well on that defensive line.
Hey.
Sneaky trade for them last year. Remember they traded?
He's good.
I remember I broke the news of the trade that happened during our show.
Never heard of him.
We had never heard of him.
No, I didn't even know how to pronounce his name.
Like, who?
But, he's a solid pass rusher in that rotation.
Situational pass rusher.
Yeah.
Very, very good. He's a Kerry Hyder from 2020. I feel like this could be a year John Lynch and company says, you know what? The hell with it. Let's go get that Lombardi. Let's at least swing for it. Let's swing for it. It feels like Jimmy's last ride. You never know with George Kittle.
If you put McCaffrey and Debo in the same
that's what I'm saying.
Offense, you're putting so much pressure on a defense. And I know what people are going to say. It's so much money for a running back.
I don't care.
But isn't your whole system based on running the ball? Why wouldn't you want to put a little bit on there?
That's what I'm saying. And Jeff Wilson Jr. being a compliment to Christian McCaffrey sounds great.
It does.
It sounds awesome.
It does.
And then McCaffrey, and I've been waiting for a running back to catch passes out of the backfield in this offense, what they wanted with Jarrett McKinnon. Now, again, I know the money is long, but what is Carolina going to do with McCaffrey? He's going to finish the season there? Because I don't want Tampa Bay grabbing him.
No.
I don't want the Rams grabbing him.
No.
I don't want Kingsbury all of a sudden getting all cocky saying, let's go bring in Christian McCaffrey and put him in the backfield with the Terminator, James Conner. We don't want that.
Yeah.
We don't want that.
Well, if you were to add Christian McCaffrey, I mean, I think that does make you the clear-cut NFC favorites. You have weapons on offense.
We've been talking about...
I just don't see how he fits under the cap.
Yeah, they restructured a lot of money.
Yeah.
That could make that work.
And then you don't have your first-rounder next year. I mean, could you move one of your D linemen and then offset whatever draft capital?
I traded a first-round pick in 2020. Well, I don't know if I don't even know if it's going to cost a first-round pick for Christian McCaffrey at this point because of the injury history. Think about that. 3, 4, 7. Like, that's not good.
Well, and he's a running back, which we know they don't trade first-rounders for running backs. You know what I mean? Like, A.J. Brown was one first-rounder, right?
Yeah.
That's what they traded him for. He's a wide receiver.
And it seems like a steal.
Yeah, so I don't know. The other thing I keep thinking about, B, is that if you can't go out and make a trade for somebody, you do have Odell coming back from an ACL injury. I don't want him to go to the Rams. They clearly need a number 2 wide receiver.
So watching the game back on a broadcast,
I didn't see the
Troy Aikman said, the Rams still are keeping a locker for Odell Beckham Jr. They still have a locker for him. So it looks like he's going back to L.A. Now, he could have a change of heart saying, they're not going to the Super. They don't look like contenders.
Yeah, they have to be in the mix. That's a good point. That's a good point.
Maybe I'll go up north. Maybe I'll go across the hallway to the Chargers.
Maybe I'll go to Buffalo.
Maybe I'll go to Buffalo with Josh Allen.
Von Miller.
So it's no guarantee. So I needed, like we both keep talking about this, if they had one more playmaker, especially with the way they're utilizing George Kittle, and you heard Baldy say they didn't throw a pass to him in the first half. They're not even using him. Give me another playmaker. It opens it up for Deebo. It opens it up for George Kittle. It opens it up for Aiyuk.
The one team I don't want to see get Christian McCaffrey, Andy Reid, and Patrick Mahomes.
Oh, my gosh.
Because if they got him, it would be game over.
So, quick story.
That would be dream team status.
Before we get to Bobby Marks, Spinoni was there at the Fox Theater.
Spinoni's in my ear. Do not speak that into existence.
Dude, Spinoni was at the Fox Theater. Spinoni was a young whippersnapper on the promo team, doing a great job. We're at the Fox Theater. It was my first draft show. It's Joe Fortenbaugh and Greg Papa.
Oh, wow. 2 peacocks.
Kansas City trades up. And Papa sits there, and he's turning red. Fat Andy, he traded up. He's got to go get Christian McCaffrey. Raider fans were petrified.
Fat Andy?
Remember that? Fat Andy? They're going to go get Christian McCaffrey. Like, it was unbelievable. Remember that, Spinoni? It was unbelievable. That draft was so fun. Deshaun Watson. We get solid.
And he got Mahomes. It was worse.
It was worse.
It was way worse.
Way worse.
And then he left the Raiders.
Oh, man. All right.
Monday Night Football, tune in. Raiders at Arrowhead.
Oh, man. Monday Night Football.
Is that this Monday night?
Yeah.
It is.
That's awesome.
It's going to be a good game.
Yeah, that will.
It'll be a good game.
Yeah. I'll be asleep by halftime.
No, not that game. I think the Raiders got a shot. I actually think the Raiders have a shot to win this football game.
Really?
Yeah, you call me crazy. Divisional game. Raiders have played well on Arrowhead the last couple years.
Kansas City lost to Indy, so I guess anything can happen in football, but they look incredible.
Have some faith in the Raiders.
Don't step on the logo pregame like they did last year. Yannick Ngakoue is not on the team anymore.
Yeah, they got torched last year doing
Bobby
that.
Marks next.
God, the year before, they ran around the stadium, and it had the bus go around the stadium like, hey, we won at Arrowhead. Look at us. That was bad for
Then
Raiders.
the emails got leaked.
Bad for us. What's coming out in case sponsored by Fremont Bank. Full service banking, no compromises. Bobby Marks is talking about the Golden State Warriors and their contract situations. Let's get to some hoops on the roast.